Hey everybody, welcome back. Reed here. Today we're going to be going over a specific pacemaker pattern, the atrial sensed ventricular paced pacemaker pattern, and this is an EKG of just that. Now, the reason why we're doing this series is because pacemakers actually give us a really unique insight into just normal cardiac physiology and how when things fail, how we can program a machine to think like a heart, right? So a pacemaker typically, and we're going to talk about dual chamber pacemakers today because that's a standard of care. A dual chamber pacemaker is a pacemaker. I'm going to draw this as the pacemaker in a P. The pacemaker is a box that sits under your skin, usually on the left side of your chest. And this box is a computer. You can program it. It thinks, for lack of a better term. But really what it has is it has these two wires. And we're going to draw a wire in black. We have a wire that goes through down into the RV right here. And then we have another wire, I'll do it in blue, that comes and sits in the right atrium. Okay? And so this is a dual chamber pacemaker. We have a lead in the atria, we have a lead in the ventricles, and the point of these leads is to pace, right? So if, for example, if the sinus node right here doesn't fire, well, how are my atria going to contract? Well, luckily we have this backup pacemaker that can fire off and cause atrial depolarization. Also, if the AV node is unable to take that signal and send it down, say there's a high-grade AV block, well, no signal gets down to the ventricles, and so what happens? We have this ventricular lead that serves as a backup that fires off, causing ventricular depolarization. Now, the cool thing about pacemakers is they have the ability to sense and pace intrinsic beats. So, for example, say, for instance, my sinus node in a person with this dual chamber pacemaker, say my sinus node is working right now, and my sinus node sends a signal. And that signal goes through the atria. Now notice that sinus P wave, it actually comes in contact with the atrial pacemaker lead. It actually comes in contact, and the pacemaker lead is able to sense that. The pacemaker receives that signal and it goes, oh wow, the sinus node did its job and paced the atria. I'm no longer going to need to pace this beat, right? So in this case, the atria is already firing off like normal, so you're going to get an atrial sensed, right? So the atrial lead of the pacemaker is sensing. Now, then say that sinus P wave gets down to the AV node like it's supposed to, but say the AV node doesn't send that signal down because the AV node is blocked, right? We have a diseased AV node. Well, this pacemaker lead that's down here, that pacemaker lead is waiting. It's got a pre-programmed time, about the same amount of time that you would expect the AV node to delay that signal, and it's waiting. And it's waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting, and it finally sees that no signal is coming down to the ventricles because the AV node is blocked, and so then it decides, well, we need to squeeze the ventricles, right? If the ventricles don't squeeze, then we die. We need to pace the ventricles, causing a subsequent QRS. And this right here is an atrial sensed ventricular paced beat, right? And an atrial sensed ventricular paced will have an intrinsic P wave, right? Because we said our sinus node has already beat like a normal beat, and then the atrial lead is sensing that beat. So we have an intrinsic P wave, and then we have our PR interval, and then we don't get a subsequent QRS, and so the pacemaker paces, right? It sends that signal, which results in a pacing spike. And then after that pacing spike, what do we get? We get a wide complex QRS, right? Because remember, the pacemaker, once this pacemaker fires off, it's going to send signal from cell to cell gap junction very slowly, right? It's not taking the rapidly conducting His-Purkinje fibers. So after that pacemaker spike, you're going to see that wide complex QRS. And so that means that you have a normal atrial P wave and a paced ventricular QRS, atrial sensed ventricular paced. So let's take a look at this EKG. You see we have a wide complex QRS. If I look really closely, my QRS duration is greater than 120 milliseconds. So greater than 3 small boxes. You notice that there are P waves driving the rhythm, right? So we have P waves driving this rhythm. And when I look closely at those P waves appear to be upright in lead 1 and upright in lead AVF, right? Upright, upright. Remember, upright P waves in leads 1 and AVF tells me they're coming from the sinus node, right? Because my sinus node sits where? High within the right atrium, sending a signal down to the left towards lead 1 and towards AVF. So we have upright P waves in those leads, right? And then we have this wide complex QRS. We notice that before every single QRS, we have these sharp spikes. Do you notice these sharp spikes at the beginning of the QRS? They're not the same in every lead, but the EKG is picking up these spikes. Spike, 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 spike. And after the spike, we're getting a wide complex QRS. So that tells me that these are ventricular pacing spikes. So these are ventricular pacing spikes, and they're generating wide complex QRS. And the cool thing about ventricular pacing spikes is it's generating a QRS complex that's negative in my inferior leads, negative in lead 2, negative in lead 3, negative in lead AVF. Remember, those are my inferior leads, right? Leads 2, leads 3, leads AVF. And why would my QRS be going away from the inferior leads? It's because the pacemaker lead is sitting in the bottom of the ventricles, and so it's actually sending signal up and away. So ventricular signal is going in the opposite direction that it usually does, right? Usually it comes from my AV node and goes down. In this case, it's coming from the bottom up. So this would be, we'll write it all out, atrial sensed ventricular paced rhythm in a dual chamber pacemaker. Now you might be asking yourself, well, let's learn a little bit about this actual pacemaker. Well, we know that the amount of time between the beginning of my P wave and the beginning of my QRS, right, that's my PR interval, right? Well, in this case, the PR interval is actually not being dictated by the AV node because the AV node's blocked. The PR interval is actually being dictated by the pacemaker. So the pacemaker is actually what's dictating the PR interval because the ventricular lead is programmed and it says, hey, ventricular lead, after this amount of time, if there's no intrinsic QRS, we need you to send a pacing spike. So if you want to know what the programming is for that ventricular pacing lead to pace, you can actually measure the PR interval and you can determine how much time the programmer has given their AV node to fire off. Pretty cool. So I hope this helps you better understand a little bit about dual chamber pacemakers and specifically this particular pattern, the atrial sense ventricular pace pattern. And if you have any questions, give me a shout. Thanks.